All eyes right now on the commentary from the Federal Reserve Chairman. A lot of fire from Capitol Hill, including from Senator Elizabeth Warren, who had something to say to Jerome Powell on the state of the economy and whether or not Fed rate hikes could throw people out of work. Take a listen.
The Fed has no control over the main drivers of rising prices, but the Fed can slow demand by getting a lot of people fired and making families poorer. And while President Biden is working to increase energy supplies and straighten out supply chain kinks and break up monopolies and bring down prices, you could actually tip this economy into recession. So I just want to say, you know what's worse than high inflation and low unemployment? It's high inflation and a recession with millions of people out of work. And I hope you'll reconsider that as you drive this, before you drive this economy off a cliff.
That was a pretty dramatic camera pan, almost as dramatic as the interaction itself. Joining me with more on this is Yahoo Finance's Jared Blikre. Jared, a lot to talk about this morning. And, you know, what's interesting is that, look, Elizabeth Warren, right, poster child for the Democratic Party, kind of saying that. But look, you heard it from both sides of the aisle. Mike Rounds, a Republican, saying the same thing. I mean, these are questions about a hard landing, is it not?
It is, and they are. And guess what? Elizabeth Warren has a number of great points. I've never found myself agreeing with her more, although she's taking a political stance to this. Of course, it is an election year, and that's one of the main drivers here. Lots of political undertones there. But this is a lose-lose situation for the Fed. Yeah, they have to stamp out inflation, and people are going to lose jobs as a result, even if they get that soft landing. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. Lots of hedges being made here. Powell was speaking before the Senate, and his comments about inflation and about the eventual soft landing and the potential for a recession, I'm reading the tea leaves here. I think they're expecting some kind of recession. You had an excellent interview with Harker, Patrick Harker.
Thank you for plugging that kindly.
Well, yes. And, you know, I think it really illustrates the conundrum that the Fed is in right now, because they want to be nimble, they want to be transparent, but that creates a little bit of confusion and it creates uncertainty. So if the Fed is going to be honest with the American people, with investors about what they're going to do with respect to price inflation, well, that's going to create uncertainty in the marketplace. And unfortunately, we are in a very, very illiquid market. There's not a lot of room for error here.
Well, and here's the kind of precarious position that the Fed finds itself in for people still trying to get caught up here. It's either the economy goes into a recession because they don't take care of inflation and it's unkempt, or the Fed has to hike rates too aggressively into a recession that's self-made. So it's kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't type of situation. But look, you heard Fed Chairman Jay Powell just a few minutes ago say a recession is, quote, certainly a possibility. It's not our intended outcome at all, but it's certainly a possibility. Jared, when you take a look at the 10-year T-note yield, 16 basis point decrease.
Yes.
That's a pretty noticeable move. What's the interpretation there?
The interpretation that I'm getting, I think a lot of it has to do with the oil prices. That's something we're not talking about a lot. Crude oil down about 5-6% today. It was down 5 or 6% 2 days ago. It's approaching $100 per barrel. That's from $130 per barrel. That's extremely significant. We're seeing break-even inflation expectations, which is part of the 5-year, the 10-year, the bond market. That, I think, is what's precipitating a lot of these losses here. Not losses, but the downturn in yields. And we're also seeing real yields come down here, too. You know, I think another point in your interview, the main takeaway from your conversation with Governor Harker is that they're still on the fence. They don't know if it's going to be 50 beeps or 75 beeps next month, and they're very honest about that. And I think the market is scared because nobody knows what the next inflation print is going to be.
Beeps?
Beeps?
I've heard bips.
I'm a beeps man.
Bops? I could go with bops.
Are we going to end this segment this way?
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, Finance Jared Blikre. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.